We are now taking you live to Alice Springs. We're hearing here from the Northern Territory's Chief Minister, Peter Dutton. The opposition leader is with her and is due to address the media shortly.
South Australia to support reducing crime efforts here in Central Australia. And the data we've seen is looking really good, but there is much more work to do. But it just reinforces our commitment to make sure that this region is safe and that people have an opportunity to live a thriving life here without always looking over their shoulder. Over this school holiday period, I've been keeping a watchful eye on Alice Springs with my colleague, Treasurer Bill Yan, and of course Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa Price has been a strong advocate for this community, walking with us every step of the way to make sure that community safety is restored to this town and to this beautiful heart of our nation. I wrote to the Prime Minister and the federal government with 7 key asks coming out of all the consultation I've been doing with the community over the school holiday period. I'm pleased that the Prime Minister immediately supported our calls to give CASA exemptions for our police, to have greater usage of our drones. And that enhanced drone capability has made a huge impact on reducing crime. By allowing our police to use drones more freely, it means they've been able to support the stopping of stolen vehicles, the apprehension of offenders, and act as a very strong deterrent on the ground. When that drone is in the sky, would-be offenders know that they are going to get caught. So I thank them for that. We also continue to work in good faith around the other 6 remaining items, but none have been secured. On the ground today, of course, we have federal opposition leader Peter Dutton, and it's wonderful to have him and his team with Senator Little back in Alice Springs. I know they have great affection for this town and want to see it going forward being strong and vibrant once again. And so we had a briefing with our police who showcased all of the work they've been doing as a result of Operation Ludlow, where we've had over 300 arrests in this period, and the Fugitive Task Force 60 arrests. Now, these are high-harm, high-risk offenders that are now out of circulation. And on coming to government, we have more than 400 additional people incarcerated than under Labor. These are people that under Labor have been left on our streets to perpetrate violence and crime against innocent Territorians. And so our hard work continues. I wrote to the federal opposition leader with our plea for 7 very simple but effective tools that are going to help reduce crime and tackle the root causes of crime longer term for this town. We've also had a meeting today and sat down around those key priorities. I'm very thrilled that a future Dutton coalition government will support in principle all 7 of our recommendations to the federal government to help the Northern Territory government restore community safety and reduce crime here in Alice Springs. And we'll work through the details, and I look forward to this partnership going forward. But it's a very strong signal to people here in Alice Springs who are crying out to be listened to be heard, and to have people actually make meaningful change. This announcement by the federal coalition will send a very clear message that they are listening, they care, and that they're willing to step up and take action alongside a Territory government whose focus is community safety. I'd now like to pass on to Lisa Siebert, who is the CLP candidate for Lingiari, and then we will hear from the rest of the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Minister Fiona. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Siebert. I'm the CLP candidate for Lingiari. It's such a pleasure to have the federal opposition leader, Mr Peter Dutton, visit us in Alice Springs to see at first hand the issues that are facing the communities currently we are seeing. I am committed to advocating and support the NT government in community safety, law and order, in reducing crime in our communities in the Northern Territory. As a career policewoman, this is the affirmation that I have taken to protect and serve the community, and I will continue to do so. Thank you. I'd like to now pass you back on to Chief Minister. Oh, sorry.
Lisa, thank you very much. Lisa's a fantastic candidate. She's given most of her professional life to law enforcement, and she's passionate about making sure that the people of Lingiari can improve their lives and that safety can be restored to the community. And Lisa, I really pay full tribute to you for the dedication that you've applied in your career, and I'm very excited to have you as the CLP candidate for the seat of Lingiari coming into the next election. It's also wonderful to be here with the Chief Minister and with Bill as well, and obviously with my two good friends and colleagues in Karen Little and Jacinta Nampijinpa Price. Thank you very much all for being here, and it is an important day. It's not my first visit to Alice Springs, as you well know. We've been taking an interest in trying to support the people of Alice Springs for a long period of time. In the previous Labor government here in the Territory, there was no will to listen to the people of Alice Springs, and I think the breath of fresh air that is this government, it's quite amazing, the turnaround, the briefing that we just received from the Deputy Commissioner and the other officers, going through the statistics, going through the impact of some of the decisions that the government's made. It really has made a tangible difference on the ground. So, Chief Minister, to you and to your government, I just say, where there is a will, there's a way. And in Canberra at the moment, there's not much will either. The Prime Minister spoke a big game in relation to the Voice and spent $450 million, but essentially has forgotten about Indigenous communities during the period since then. We're on the eve of an election, and the Prime Minister really has nothing to say in relation to these important issues. I'm very pleased to have worked with the Chief Minister to go through the 7-point plan, and on behalf of the Coalition, we have said that we will commit in principle to those issues and to those points, because it will lead to a reduction in crime and it will lead to a safer environment here in Alice Springs. And for those reasons, I'm very happy to work hand in glove with the government and to make sure that we can provide the police with every resource and provide them with every support we can, so that people can live a happy life and live a life free of crime. When people go home to their homes at night time, I want them to do so safely. When they turn up to their businesses in the morning, I don't want there to have been damage to a front window or damage to property that they own otherwise. And I think if we have a determination, there is a way to make things better, and that's exactly what Leader's plan does here. So I'm very grateful to be here at this great business as well. So thank you very much to Bobby and the staff for showing us around. They're obviously an integral employer here in the Territory, employing 22 people, and not just do they have Indigenous employees, but they have a big growth book, and they have a great reputation in the local community. So I'm very happy to be here as well. I'll hand over to my two colleagues, and then we'll be happy to take some questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Peter, for being here once more in Alice Springs. To the locals that have been concerned with the leadership attending our community of Alice Springs, I can tell you that we as the Coalition are committed to improving the situation on the ground, not just here in Alice Springs in Central Australia, but right across the Northern Territory. And Peter has demonstrated that over and again. And Peter doesn't just speak to heads of organisations when he comes here to Alice Springs, but speaks to people on the ground to understand what's occurring for individuals and how they're being impacted, particularly by crime in the Northern Territory. I'm so pleased that we as the Coalition will commit to the 7 points, the requests made by our Chief Minister, who is doing a wonderful job at overcoming the crime and the violence that our local community has been experiencing. I think it's really important. We need to realise that the Prime Minister has failed in basically ignoring the ask from the Chief Minister to better support Central Australia through those 7 key points. I mean, locals here understand the fact that when we have alcohol restrictions put in place, the positive impact that has. So to be able to change recipients, Centrelink recipients, the way they get their payments to coincide with those days, well, then the likelihood of those individuals spending their money on things that they need increases, things like food, bills on their children. We know that will have a positive impact going forward. So there's no doubt at all that we are prepared to support this. You know, we do need an audit into the spend that occurs right across the board. So I guess in that vein, I'm very pleased and very honoured to have been appointed the Shadow Minister for Government Efficiency. But that is something that we will support this government, the Territory government, in doing going forward, to make sure that we are effectively supporting and investing where outcomes will be produced, and it will create a positive impact to overcome some of the things that we in the Territory have been confronted with. Things like royalties payments. Now, I have been saying for such a long time that we are committed to holding an inquiry into Land Council's statutory authorities. And the reason for this is to understand things like how royalties payments impact our communities. Speaking to police this morning, it's been confirmed once more, something that we already knew, that when royalties payments, another form of passive welfare, are distributed, quite often this leads to an increase in alcohol-related crime, because we know that those who would be welfare recipients have now got cash to go and spend. And we'd love to support those individuals to purchase things like white goods, the things that they need that are necessary for them. So these are all things that we will, under a coalition government, look at how we can improve. But our Chief Minister, Leah Finocchiaro, has called for this, and we will absolutely get behind her and support her with these key points going forward. Thank you.
Well, it's terrific to be here with the CLP and also with my coalition colleagues. Peter has recognised from the very beginning that safety of the individual and safety of communities is paramount to improve people's lives. We haven't just turned up today to talk about this. We've been talking about this since 2022. We talked about the lifting of those alcohol restrictions and the devastation that I don't know why the Prime Minister didn't know that was going to happen, but everybody else seemed to know it. And Territorians are living with the consequences right now. We also have to look at domestic violence in this territory, because the rate of domestic violence is increasing at 20%. The numbers are not going down. The Albanese government also spent nearly $300 million in Central Australia for a better, safer Central Australia, is what he called it, but he hasn't delivered that given the amount of money that's been invested. We have to ask questions such as, where is the money? Where has it gone? How effective has it been? And these are tough questions. You need courage to be able to address these issues, and we intend to have the opportunity to do that.